Here are 9 famous faces preparing for tonight's show. Each wants to win up to £50,000 for charity, but only one can take the money away. The others will leave empty-handed when they're voted off as the weakest link.
Welcome to another celebrity edition of The Weakest Link. The 9 people in the studio here tonight are all famous for one reason or another. And they're here to try to win up to £50,000 for charity. If they want that prize money, they'll have to work as a team, but 8 of them will leave with nothing. As round by round we lose the player voted the weakest link. Let's meet the team.
Hello, my name's Mark. I'm famous for writing the headlines on the celebrity magazine Heat and reading them out on TV's Liquid News.
I'm Edwina Curry, former politician, and I've recently published my diaries.
Hi, I'm Dane Bowles, and apart from singing, I'm famous for coming second on a national IQ test hosted by the lovely Anne Robinson.
Hi, I'm Phil Tufnell, and I'm the bad boy of cricket.
I'm Peter Tatchell, I'm a human rights activist, and I'm famous for trying to arrest President Mugabe of Zimbabwe.
Hi, I'm Rick, and I'm famous for my larger-than-life personality.
Hi, I'm Terry, and I'm famous for being that northern git on Channel 4's The Word.
I'm Cheryl Baker, and I'm famous for having my skirt ripped off by Mike Nolan in the Eurovision Song Contest.
I'm Lloyd Scott. I'm famous for undertaking charity expeditions and completing the London Marathon in a deep-sea diver suit.
Now, the rules. In each round, the aim is to answer enough questions correctly to reach your £5,000 target within the time limit. The fastest way is to create a chain of 9 correct answers. Get your question wrong and you break the chain and lose all the money in that chain. But if you say bank before the question is asked, the money is safe. However, you start a new chain from scratch. Remember, team, at the end of the round, only money that's been banked can be taken forward. In round 1, there are 3 minutes on the clock. We'll start with the person whose name is first alphabetically. That's you, Cheryl. Let's play The Weakest Link. First question is for £100. Start the clock. Cheryl, in the UK, a traditional snowman is most likely to be made outdoors in which of the 4 seasons?
Winter.
Correct. Lloyd, in the vast majority of cars sold in the UK, the steering wheel is situated on which side from the perspective of the driver, left or right?
The right side.
Correct. Mark, in maths, if you're counting upwards, which number comes immediately after 9?
10.
Correct. Edwina.
Bank.
What is the usual 4-letter word for a hinged or sliding panel by which the entrance to a building or room is opened and closed?
Door.
Correct. Dane. In literature, the novel Treasure Island refers to a sea song featuring the lyrics yo-ho-ho and a bottle of what?
Rum.
Correct. Phil. In the UK, which common boy's name is often shortened to Tom or Tommy?
Thomas.
Correct. Peter.
Bank.
Which 2-letter word is the opposite of yes?
No.
Correct. Rick. On the Canadian national flag, what is the colour of the maple leaf, red or white?
Red.
Correct. Terry. In UK humour, the long-winded jokes featuring people of 3 nationalities most commonly include an Englishman, a Scotsman and who?
An Irishman.
Correct. Cheryl.
Bank.
In a city, what P is the 4-letter name given to an open area of land for public recreational use that may include a playground and benches?
Park.
Correct. Lloyd. The mark known as the lifeline that's supposed to indicate how long a person will live is on which part of the body?
Palm.
I'll
Hand.
accept. Mark, in the animal kingdom, which is the only spiny insect-eating mammal native to Britain?
Don't know.
A hedgehog. Edwina, in pop music, the 1969 festival Woodstock took place in which country?
United States.
Correct. Dane. In food, what C is the name for the often inedible centre portion of certain fruits or vegetables?
Core.
Correct. Phil. In body language, what name given to a moving hand signal is also a term for an undulation on a liquid surface?
Sign language.
Wave. Peter, in the 2001 film Hannibal, which British-born actor played the character Mason Verger, Gary Oldman or Joan Collins?
Gary Mason.
No, Gary Oldman.
Oh, Gary
Rick. In language, what B is the collective term for a cluster of grapes, a bouquet of flowers, or a set of keys that are fastened together?
Bunch.
Correct. Terry. In September 2002, which Manchester United player was charged by the Football Association with bringing the game into disrepute?
Roy Keane.
Correct. Cheryl. According to the popular phrase, in which part of the UK is it grim, up north or down south?
Up north.
Correct. Lloyd. The name of which heavy fabric floor covering forms familiar terms when placed before bag, slipper or sweeper?
Hand.
Carpet. Mark. The official national anthem of which African country includes verses in Afrikaans, Xhosa and English?
South Africa.
Correct. Time is up, and that was almost disastrous, because at one point you had a chain of 11 correct answers, so there would have been no difficulty whatsoever in reaching the target of 5,000. Instead, you got a pathetic 1,750. Whose fault was that? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
The statistics reveal that the first strongest link is Cheryl, as she gave the most correct answers. Phil is the weakest link, but who will the players vote off at this early stage in the game?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Peter.
Phil.
Peter.
Mark.
Mark.
Peter.
Mark.
Peter.
Peter.
Cheryl. Nice name, Cheryl, isn't it?
Yes.
What's your real name, Cheryl?
Rita.
Rita what?
Rita Maria? You're after my surname, aren't you? Crudgington. Yes?
Rita Crudgington. And was it difficult making a decision over who to choose to get rid of?
Yeah. It was between two.
You're good at making your mind up, are you?
That's the first original use of making your mind up I've ever heard. Very good.
Could you sing us a little of it?
Do you want me to?
Yes. Come on, Rita.
You gotta speed it up. I've got to the movements now. And then you gotta slow it down. Cause if you believe that a love can hit the top, you gotta play around. But soon you will find that there comes a time for making your mind up. Oh, I don't need any blusher now.
Oh, I think you do. Are you getting rid of Peter because he sat on the president of Zimbabwe?
The reason I voted him off was because he got his answer wrong when he knew it was right. It was a silly mistake to make.
Dane, what are you most famous for?
Bits and pieces, really. I present and sing and write and...
You sell yourself very well. How many number ones have you had, dear?
Just the one.
Just the one. What was that?
Freak Me.
Could we hear it, please?
No.
Why not?
The lyrics are a little bit more embarrassing to sing than make your mind up, I think.
Say them then.
Let me lick you up and down. Things like that. I won't go any further.
Are those the lyrics?
They are.
What? Lick me up and down, things like that, I won't go any further?
Yeah.
Why Peter?
I think there could have been a few people, to be honest, but it was the last person I could remember getting something wrong.
Mark!
Hello, Anne.
What's your big interest in life?
Just the world of celebrities, really.
Do you appear on the television?
Yeah.
What do you do on the television?
I present a TV show called Liquid News.
Right. And if they have a news story with lots of R's at the beginning of each word, do you have a problem with it?
I would have a problem with that, yes.
So if the story started round the ragged rock, the rock star raged, could you say that for us?
I wouldn't say that because I have a co-presenter, so she'd do it.
No, let's try you. On round the ragged rock...
Round the Ragged Rock.
The rock star raged.
The rock star raged.
Oh, well, that's not bad. Are you pulling your tongue at me? That's not very nice for an editor of a magazine.
It's also not very advisable, I would guess, for the rest of the show.
No. Why Peter?
Peter, as well as getting the question wrong, didn't really hear the question right, so I think that was a kind of double problem.
Rick, have you got heavy bones, or did you just eat too much?
Hey, what can I say? We're building big in my family. I was actually born as twins.
You going to sing for us?
Actually, I would like to sing a song for you. It's especially for you because this is my tribute.
Just hurry up.
Isn't she lovely? Isn't she wonderful? Thank you. I think that sums it up in 2 lines.
Why Peter?
I think the question he got wrong was fairly easy.
OK, well, interestingly, the weakest link was not Peter, but bad boy Phil. But it's votes that count. Peter, do you think it might have been better if you'd taken Rick to sit on the president of Zimbabwe?
Possibly, possibly.
Peter, you are the weakest link. Come on.
I'm coming out! I was the first to be outed. Makes a change. Obviously, there's a problem with my hearing. I should be going to the doctors tomorrow to get them syringed. But, you know, someone had to go, and this time it happened to be me.
Round 2, team. So far, you have £1,750. You're down to 8 players. We are now taking 10 seconds off the time. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Rita. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Cheryl, in maths, what is 6 multiplied by 6?
36.
Correct. Lloyd, in cookery, which Italian dish is made from layered sheets of pasta alternating with meat or vegetables and a sauce?
Lasagna.
Correct. Mark, someone who goes from poverty to great wealth is said to go from rags to what?
Riches.
Correct. Edwina, in motoring, if a car doesn't start, although the starter motor turns the engine, the fault may be what? Flat battery or no fuel?
Flat battery.
No, no fuel. Dane, according to the nursery rhyme, who are made from frogs and snails and puppy dogs' tails?
Little boys.
Correct. Phil, in gambling, what H means to secure against a possible loss on one bet by placing money on the opposite outcome?
Pass.
Hedge. Rick, in popular culture, the singer Sarah Brightman was once married to which extremely successful composer?
Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Correct. Terry, in the animal kingdom, in terms of diet, what is a seal, a carnivore or a herbivore?
Carnivore.
Correct. Cheryl, what word links a republic in Central America, a type of hat and a canal that connects the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans?
Panama.
Correct. Lloyd, in theatre, what D is an alternative word for a playwright?
Pass.
Dramatist. Mark, in TV, what's the surname of the Scottish comedienne whose TV show Rona was broadcast in 2000?
Cameron.
Correct. Edwina, in sport, somebody who's played badly is often said to have had what? A mare or a stallion?
A mare?
Correct. Dane, in newspapers, which British tabloid introduced the gossip column called the 3 a.m. Girls?
Daily Mirror.
Correct. Phil,
Bank.
in the kitchen, what Z is a term for the outer peel of a lemon?
Zest.
Correct. Rick, in the UK, in which month is All Fool's Day?
April.
Correct. Terry, in art, what was the principal European style of the 17th and early 18th centuries, Baroque or Cubist?
Baroque.
Correct. Cheryl,
Bank.
according to the expression to battle very fiercely is to fight tooth and what?
Nail.
Correct. Lloyd, in customs, another way of saying proposed marriage is to pop the what?
Question.
Correct. Mark, in maths, when paying for an item costing £4.99, how much change would someone get from a £10 note?
£5 1 pence.
Correct.
Bank.
Edwina, in 2002, the National Film Theatre is celebrating which anniversary, 50th or 100th?
50th.
Correct. Dane, at Christmas, a joke, a small toy and a paper hat are traditionally found inside which noisy novelty?
Cracker.
Correct. Phil,
Bank.
in pop music, on the 2000 single Kids, Kylie Minogue sang a duet with which former member of Take That?
Robbie Williams.
Correct. Rick,
Bank.
in history, what bee is a type of animal reputed to have been... Time's up. I can't complete the question. You banked £2,600, but yet again you had a chain of 12 correct answers, so yet again you could have easily have achieved the target of £5,000. Who is costing you money? Who needs to be dispatched without delay? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
Cheryl remains the strongest link statistically. Lloyd is the weakest link. But will the team have noticed that?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Phil.
Dane.
Lloyd.
Edwina.
Phil.
Mark.
Phil.
Mark.
Cheryl. Why Phil?
Well, because he was the weakest link in the last round and I voted off the wrong person in the last round, so I'm calculating the two together.
Has clarity of thought never been one of your strong points?
I know he banked a lot of money, I know that. He possibly banked the most, and I do apologise, but I wrestled with this one.
Mark.
Hello.
Why Phil?
Well, Phil got one wrong and he hesitated another one.
What? One wrong?
Any wrong. And also, it was the sticking the tongue out thing. I've blown it now, haven't I? Absolutely.
But you're quite good looking.
Thank you very much, Anne.
That's all right.
And also, I think we're banking a bit too soon, and I think Phil is number one. Yeah, for banking too soon.
Well, statistically, actually, old Lloyd over here was the worst player, but it is votes that count. Phil, are you a bit thick?
Well, no, I'm quite bright occasionally.
We've seen no evidence of it here.
No, I had a bit of a nightmare there. The old brain wasn't working.
OK, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
In cricketing terms, I would say that's a naught, that is. That's a big fat zero. I was up for it, I was focused, but Annie was just a little bit... She's a bit intimidating. She got to me a little bit. It's a bit like Curtly Ambrose coming in and bowling at your head.
Round 3, team, and you're up to £4,350 and you're down to 7 players. Another 10 seconds coming off the time. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Cheryl yet again. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Cheryl, in language, a person who closely resembles someone else is known as a dead what?
Ringer.
Correct. Lloyd. In fashion, to dress informally as opposed to wearing clothes that are formal or elaborate is known as dressing what, up or down?
Down.
Correct. Mark, what name for a variety of bird can follow the word cockney to describe a chirpy, quick-witted Londoner?
Sparrow.
Correct. Edwina.
Bank.
Which single word is the name for the funfair ride in which participants drive small electric cars and try to bump others?
Dodgems.
Correct. Dane. According to the Bible, what eye was the name of a group of people who spent 40 years in the wilderness?
Israelites.
Correct. Rick. Which American word for railway also means to force someone into a particular course of action?
Pass.
Railroad. Terry, in September 2002, Dudley in the West Midlands was hit by what, an earthquake or a tidal wave?
An earthquake.
Correct. Cheryl. The quotation attributed to the Duke of Wellington about a forthcoming book by a former mistress was, publish and be what?
Damned.
Correct. Lloyd. In popular culture, which comic strip superhero is the arch-enemy of Ming the Merciless?
Flash Gordon.
Correct. Mark. In pop music, Nelly Furtado had a 2001 UK hit single with Turn Out the What?
Lights.
Correct. Edwina.
Bank.
In the TV soap EastEnders, what is the postal area for Albert Square, E17 or E20?
E17.
No, E20. Dane. In dentistry, the name of which type of tooth means dog-like?
Canine.
Correct. Rick.
Bank.
In world affairs, in the acronym NATO, the letter A stands for what?
National.
Atlantic. Terry. In cricket, what B was the name given to the notorious 1932-33 Test series between England and Australia?
Pass.
Bodyline. Cheryl. In the underworld, what slang term for a member of a gang or organised group of criminals rhymes with lobster?
Mobster.
Correct. Lloyd. Pop singer Holly Valance is a distant cousin of which late comedian known for his sketches where he was chased by a bevy of women?
Benny Hill.
Correct. Mark, in language, the Italian title signor refers to which sex?
Male.
Correct, Edwina.
Bank.
Which term meaning sour or tart goes before the word house to describe synthetic electronic dance music popular in the 1980s?
Acid.
Correct, Dane. In children's literature, Rat is a character in which 1908 novel by Kenneth Graham?
Wind in the Willow.
Correct.
Bank.
Rick, in politics, what surname was shared by the US President Woodrow? Time's up, I can't complete the question. And you got £2,350 in that round. But whose fame has numbed their brain? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
According to the statistics, the strongest link is Mark. Rick is the weakest link as he was the only player to get all his answers wrong. But how will the votes go?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Rick.
Rick.
Rick. Lloyd.
Rick.
Edwina.
Rick.
What do you do, Lloyd?
I work for a charity, Anne.
Doing what?
Raising funds and doing PR and media for them. A charity called CLICK.
What does CLICK stand for?
CLICK stands for Cancer and Leukemia in Childhood.
And what do you do on the side?
Undertake expeditions to raise money for the charity.
Why Rick?
I just thought we got a couple of questions wrong in that round.
So, Edwina.
Anne, hello.
What would you say you were most famous for?
Well, I was a politician in the House of Commons for 14 years. I was in the Department of Health. Before that, I helped to run the City of Birmingham and also got involved in working
Edwina,
for gay
perhaps you
rights.
didn't hear the question. What are you most famous for?
Right now, I'm most famous for publishing a diary of some of my years in Parliament.
Oh, don't let's be so coy, Edwina. You slept with a future Prime Minister.
Not exactly. Not exactly, because we did not know...
You didn't sleep together.
We didn't know at the time that he was going to be a future Prime Minister.
Oh, we're not arguing about whether you slept with him. We're only arguing about what job he went on to do.
Well, I can assure you as well, Anne, that we didn't sleep.
Why Rick?
He had a real struggle last time. And he is one of the nicest people I think I've ever met.
No, don't. It's too late, Edwina, for you to start being nice.
Sometimes when you want to be nice to somebody, you put them out of their misery. So that's why, Rick. Sorry.
Is that what you did with John Major?
Well, I do hope so.
Terry, what are you most famous for?
Well, I suppose doing the Word, Channel 4.
Do you think your voice had anything to do with your fame?
No, I just think they wanted a cardboard cut-out Scally from up north, and I think I fitted the bill back in 1990.
Why Rick?
I think he's done really well, but I couldn't vote for Edwina in a million years.
Why not?
But it's just habit, you know. And I thought if I voted for Mark again, it looked like I was picking on him. Because he was
Well, it
tall.
wouldn't do your career any good, would it?
Oh, wouldn't it?
No.
Why?
Because he won't feature you anymore.
On what?
In his magazine.
Oh, do you know, Anne? No offence, but I don't give a toss about things like that. Yeah, I was never very good at that kind of thing. I think with Rick, I think he just got a couple of them wrong, and I was just trying to be fair, really.
Rick, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Well, you know, it was an absolute honour to sing for Anne, one of my favourite songs, and I thought it just really kind of sums up her whole person.
Round 14, and you're up to £6,700, and you're down to 6 players. Another 10 seconds coming off the time. You now have only 2.5 minutes. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Mark. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Mark, in definitions, what is a gazetteer? A weeping footballer or an atlas index?
An atlas index.
Correct. Edwina, in human biology, the auricle and drum are parts of which organ?
The ear.
Correct. Dane. In electronics, a device which interrupts an electric current for safety reasons is called a circuit what?
Breaker.
Correct. Terry. In music, what M is the name for a device used on a brass instrument to muffle the tone?
Muffler.
Mute. Cheryl, in film, what alternative term for paradise was the title of a 2002 romantic drama set in Italy and starring Kate Blanchett?
Eden.
Heaven.
Huh?
Lloyd, in British wildlife, the mandarin duck was originally a native of which continent?
Asia.
Correct. Mark, in geography, which bridge has the greater total length, Brooklyn Bridge or the Forth Bridge?
Brooklyn.
No, the Forth Bridge. Edwina, in cinema, which Oscar-winning actor married Lisa Marie Presley in August 2002?
Michael Jackson.
No, Nicolas Cage. Dane, in clothing, what two-word name is given to the fastening device that is sometimes called a popper or snap fastener?
No idea.
Sorry?
No idea.
Press stud. Terry, in education, students at the Norland College train for which profession, nanny or lollipop lady?
Nanny.
Correct. Cheryl, in pop music in September 2002, which Welsh band released a greatest hits album featuring the songs Mulder and Scully and Road Rage?
I don't know.
Catatonia. Lloyd, in language, in the slang of which English-speaking country do the words bonza, ripper and beauty mean excellent?
Australia.
Correct. Mark, in politics, an older, very experienced member of a group whose opinions are sought and respected is known as an elder what?
Statesman.
Correct. Edwina, in which team sport played on horseback are players given handicaps measured in goals up to a maximum of 10?
Polo.
Correct. Dane, in photography, a tripod is a camera stand with how many legs?
3.
Correct. Terry,
Bank.
what word meaning capable of being shaped or moulded is also a collective name for artificial materials such as polythene and PVC?
Plastic.
Correct. Cheryl, in geography, what V is the name of the major Russian river that empties into the Caspian Sea?
Volga.
Correct. Lloyd, in the New Testament, according to the Gospel of Matthew, what title? Time's up. I can't complete the question, and you only won £1,000. Somebody here is losing you money. Can Mark stand the heat? Has the fizz gone out of Cheryl? Is Edwina just a rotten egg? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
As the only player to answer all his questions correctly, Lloyd is the strongest link. Cheryl is the weakest link. But will the votes reflect the statistics?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Terry.
Dane.
Edwina.
Edwina.
Terry.
Dane.
Well, we have a three-way tie team. Edwina, Dane and Terry have 2 votes each. Dane, are you always so excitable?
You scare me.
Why Edwina? What's she done to you?
I think it was going to be Cheryl, but she's just been so good in the other rounds that I think it was probably best to keep her on.
Oh, so you're not asleep after all.
No.
Edwina, why Dane?
Because he is really not happy. And
I don't think he's ever happy, Edwina. I don't think there's anything...
That's at least possible, but he really struggled with the questions.
Well, Cheryl. Why Terry?
I don't know again. I don't know. Every round I haven't known. Every round I've gone, who do I vote for this time? And Terry, I don't know. Just because. For absolutely no reason whatsoever.
I'm so pleased you've applied so much scholarship to it, Cheryl. OK, well, when the vote's tied, the strongest link has to cast the deciding vote. And the strongest link in the last round was Lloyd. Why have you voted for Dane?
Well, it's very close between Dane and Cheryl, but Cheryl had answered lots of questions in previous rounds and been very strong.
Well, your choice is between Edwina, Dane or Terry. You're going to stick with Dane?
Yeah, I think that's the case, and I'll stick with Dane.
Statistically, Cheryl was the weakest player, but it's votes that count. Dane, you are the weakest link.
I've got to say, I want to see Edwina off next. She voted for me twice. Once when I didn't get anything wrong, which was a bit strange, and the second time she thought I was a bit quiet, so I think Edwina's got to go.
Round 5, team, and you have £7,700. 5 of you left, another 10 seconds coming off the time. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round, that's Lloyd. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Lloyd, in maths, which is the greater number, 1 score or 2 dozen?
1 score.
2 dozen. Mark, in written English, which capital letter is made up of 2 vertical parallel lines joined at the middle by a shorter horizontal line?
H.
Correct. Edwina, the United Nations headquarters and the Rockefeller Center in which US city?
New York.
Correct. Terry, in science, what A is a noble gas used in Geiger counters and in household light bulbs?
Argon.
Correct. Cheryl, the poem entitled Upon Westminster Bridge, which celebrated its 200th anniversary in September 2002, was written by whom?
Milton.
William Wordsworth. Lloyd, in August 2002, who became the first university football team to play in the FA Cup for over a century? Bath University or the Open University?
Bath University.
Correct. Mark, in pop music, which singer had a 1991 UK #1 single with the Shoop Shoop song?
Cher.
Correct. Edwina, in nature, phyloplume, contour and down are varieties of what type of structures on the bodies of birds?
Feathers.
Correct. Terry, in geography, which African country gets its name from the river Zambezi, which runs along its southern border with Zimbabwe?
Zambia.
Correct. Cheryl,
Thanks.
in theatre, which West End musical features the character Professor Henry Higgins?
Oh, for God's sake.
Is "Oh, for God's sake" your answer?
No. My Fair Lady.
Correct. Lloyd, in cinema, the 2002 film starring Mel Gibson entitled Signs is about what? Driving instructors or crop circles?
Crop circles.
Correct. Mark, in food, which country in the Southern Hemisphere produces Canterbury lamb?
Don't know.
New Zealand. Edwina, in literature, the 2002 best-selling novel by Zadie Smith is called The Autograph what?
Hunter.
Man. Terry, in March 1963, which politician resigned over his affair with Christine Keeler?
Profumo.
Correct. Cheryl, in English history, King Alfred the Great ruled which people, the West Saxons or the West Indians?
West Saxons.
Correct. Lloyd, in toasting the consumption of alcohol, an alternative way of saying cheers is to use the phrase, here's mud in your what?
Eye.
Correct. Mark. Time's up and you're back to £1,100. Who needs to change their agent? Who's sliding down the charts? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
Terry is the strongest link because he didn't get an answer wrong. Statistically, Mark is the weakest link. But who will the team want off?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Edwina.
Cheryl.
Mark.
Lloyd.
Cheryl.
Edwina, when you were at Oxford, Bill Clinton was there. Did you get to know him well?
Not sure I should tell you, Anne.
Why Cheryl?
Because, in fact, although she knew the answer to My Fair Lady, it took ages to get there, and we can't afford to lose that time now.
Cheryl, you are the weakest link.
I do suffer from nerves, and I was really nervous when we did the Eurovision Song Contest. Really nervous. But just now, just even introducing myself on the weakest link, my heart was pounding. I didn't think I would be that nervous, but there you are, I was.
Round 6, and you've banked £8,800. 4 of you left, another 10 seconds coming off the time. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Terry. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Terry, in botany, which wild plant with yellow flowers can be used to make wine and is sometimes called fairy clock and lion's tooth?
Dandelion.
Correct. Lloyd, in money, what is the official national currency of Finland?
Krona.
The euro. Mark, according to the football chant, you're not singing, you're not singing, you're not singing what?
Anymore.
Correct. Edwina, in children's TV, which round, arched and square architectural features were used as learning tools in the programme Play School?
Blocks.
Windows. Terry, in the UK, a person who enjoys only popular culture and looks down on supposedly highbrow activities is known as an inverted what?
Snob.
Correct. Lloyd. Before her coronation in 1953, the Queen had given birth to how many of her 4 children?
None.
2. Mark. In language, the phrase often used to express affection is bless their little cotton what?
Socks.
Correct. Edwina. In September 2002, which politician became the first non-Labour Party leader to address TUC delegates at their conference in Blackpool?
Ian Duncan Smith.
No, Charles Kennedy. Terry. In TV, in the Australian soap opera Neighbours, what was the first name of the character played by Jason Donovan?
Pass.
Scott. Lloyd. In biology, the term airway describes the passage of air from the nose or the mouth to which of the organs in the body?
Lungs.
Correct. Mark. In March 2002, a second theme park was opened in the Disney Resort in which European capital city?
Paris.
Correct. Edwina. In the Royal Navy, for what period of time is an officer responsible for the ship if he's on a dog watch? 2 hours or 2 days?
2 hours.
Correct. Terry.
Bank.
In language, which word can come before enemy, house and utility to make 3 well-known phrases?
Pass.
Public. Lloyd. In football, at which ground does Premiership club Newcastle United play its home games?
St James's Park.
Correct. Mark. In the USA, G-men is an old slang term for agents of which law enforcement bureau?
Taxes.
No, FBI. Time's up, and that was terrible. Having got rid of so many apparently weaker links, you put in the kitty just £350. Is Terry's voice getting on your nerves? Is the marathon over for Lloyd? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
In a reversal of fortune, Mark is now the strongest link. Edwina is the weakest link statistically because she gave the fewest correct answers. But whose game is over?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Terry.
Lloyd.
Mark.
Terry.
Mark.
Hello.
Are you single?
I've got a girlfriend.
But you're single?
You're asking, aren't you? If we want to go, yeah, we can go out. That's fine.
We
yeah.
can. You like older women, do you?
Yeah. Where would you like to go?
I'll think about it.
Okay.
Why Terry?
Revenge is sweet. He's been voting for me throughout the
Oh,
game.
revenge!
Absolutely, Anne. He's been voting for me throughout the game. He mentioned earlier it's because I was tall. He's standing on a box. I'm not. I think that's what this is about. And also because you said I was good-looking earlier on, I think he's a bit jealous.
You are very
I actually
good-looking.
voted for you because you didn't bank over £1,000
Terry?
a bit ago, yes.
Shut up. Statistically, the worst player was Edwina, but she's got away with it. Terry, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
The walk of shame felt good. I felt no shame. In fact, I've got no shame, really, otherwise I'd never have done some of the things I've done in the past. Hey, that's TV.
Round 7, team, and out of a possible £30,000, you've got 9,150. There are 3 of you left. The good-looking Mark, Edwina, and Lloyd. Another 10 seconds coming off the time. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Mark. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Mark, the films Dr. Zhivago, Easy Rider and Bonnie and Clyde were all first released during which decade?
The 60s?
Correct. Edwina, which 4-letter word can mean a hole through which liquid escapes from a container or the disclosure of secret information?
A bung?
A leak. Lloyd, in cricket, with which country did England draw at the Oval in September 2002 to end their summer series all square?
India.
Correct. Mark,
Bank.
in history, which Italian politician led the so-called March on Rome in 1922?
Mussolini?
Correct. Edwina, in UK geography, the famous beauty spot on the Hebridean island of Staffa is known as Fingal's what?
Cave.
Correct. Lloyd, in biology, which Russian physiologist is chiefly remembered for conditioning dogs to salivate on hearing a bell?
Pass.
Pavlov. Mark, in food and drink, which word follows barley, tonic and soda to give the names of 3 beverages?
Water.
Correct. Edwina, what name is shared by the spoken words of a play and the school punishment of repeatedly writing the same phrase or sentence?
Lines.
Correct. Lloyd, in the home, which cleaning product is usually labelled either bio or non-bio?
Washing powder.
Correct.
Bank.
Mark, which Spanish word describes an afternoon rest or nap taken during the hottest hours of the day in warm countries?
Siesta.
Correct. Edwina, on the World Wide Web, the letters BE at the end of a domain name represent which European country?
Belgium.
Correct.
Bank.
Lloyd, in language, the informal expression meaning to die, which originates from poker, is to cash in one's what?
Chips.
Correct. Mark, derived from the story of Adam and Eve, the term for a device intended to cover up something embarrassing or indecent is a what leaf?
Fig.
Correct. Edwina, in maths, what is the sum of the number of sides of a square and the number of sides on a triangle?
The hypotenuse.
7. Time's up and you banked £1,100. Now, in round 8, you get the chance to treble what you bank. So, potentially, there is £15,000 to be won. Who is going to help you most to raise the bank balance? Do you have the courage to vote off the weakest link?
At this crucial stage in the game, Mark remains the strongest link statistically, as he answered all his questions correctly. Edwina remains the weakest link. Can she survive the final vote?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Lloyd.
Lloyd.
Edwina.
Mark.
Hello.
Why Lloyd?
I think it's a difficult choice now. He's been fantastic all along, but the last couple of rounds he's not been as good.
Edwina, do you fancy Mark?
Oh, yeah. Who
Well,
wouldn't?
keep your hands off, because I spotted him first. Why Lloyd?
Because if we really are to raise a lot of money for charity, Mark is the stronger. I couldn't vote for myself as the weakest link. Probably a pity, because I did get quite a lot of the questions wrong last time.
Lloyd, one challenge you haven't completed. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Going face-to-face with Fame was quite an experience, and she actually reminded me of Darth Vader. They're both dressed in black, they're both evil, but I believe there's some good in there somewhere. Well, it's a good job that I didn't turn up and do the show in my diver suit, because when I got voted off, it would have been the longest walk of shame ever. I'd still probably be doing it now.
Round 8, and out of a possible £35,000, you've got 10,250. 2 of you left, and in this round there's 90 seconds, but whatever you win will be trebled. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Mark. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Mark, which form of quartz was used by ancient civilizations to make spearheads and is also the name of a town in North Wales?
Vil.
Flint. Edwina, in film, the 2002 fantasy in which dragons attack London is called Reign of what?
Terror.
Fire. Mark. In geography, the French pilgrimage town of Lourdes is approximately 50 kilometres from the border of which European country?
Belgium.
Spain. Edwina, in fashion, what word can follow skiing, driving and boxing to give the names of 3 functional garments?
Shorts.
Gloves. Mark, when used to describe a swindle in which the fraudster wins the trust of the victim, the word con is an abbreviation of what?
Conspiracy.
No confidence. Edwina, in pop music, which male British singer had a 2002 UK #1 album called Illumination?
Robbie Williams.
Paul Weller. Mark, in travel, which British island group is served by ferries sailing from Weymouth, Portsmouth and Poole?
The Isle of Wight.
No, Channel Islands. Edwina, in food, the process of cooking an unfilled pie shell to prevent it from becoming soggy when the filling is added is called baking what?
Blind.
Correct. Mark.
Bank.
In tennis, in 2002, sisters Venus and Serena Williams met in the singles finals at the French Open, the US Open, and which other Grand Slam tournament?
Wimbledon.
Correct. Edwina, what word meaning a need for food goes before march and strike to give terms for 2 different forms of protest? Well, that was pretty terrible. Between you brains, you've got £100. We'll treble it and add it to the winnings from the previous rounds. That means prize money tonight of £10,550. But of course, only one of you can take that money away, so now you'll play against each other head-to-head. I'll ask alternating questions, best of 5. Whoever answers the most correctly wins. So Mark and Edwina for £10,550. Let's play the weakest link. Mark is the strongest link in the last round. You have the choice of who goes first.
Can I go first, please?
Mark, which board game introduced in 1985 involves illustrating a word using a series of sketched clues for others to identify within a time limit?
Pictionary?
That is the correct answer. Edwina, in the punchline of a classic knock-knock joke, what two-word name for a dish made with mutton precedes the phrase "in the name of the law"?
Irish stew.
That is the correct answer. Mark, what's the popular name of the hymn which features the lines "Bring me my bow of burning gold, bring me my arrows of desire"?
Jerusalem.
That is the correct answer. Edwina, in modern literature, the memoirs of which TV presenter published in September 2002 are entitled "And Why Not"?
Jeremy Paxman.
No, the correct answer is Barry Norman. Mark, in food, which US state grows the most grapes?
Virginia.
No, the correct answer is California. Edwina, in language, which word meaning of or relating to the body is also the name of a rank in the British Army?
Relating to the body. Lance?
No, corporal is the correct answer. Mark, which 1997 award-winning film set in Sheffield had its title translated as 6 Stripped Pigs when it was distributed to Chinese audiences?
The Full Monty.
That is the correct answer. Edwina, you need to answer this question correctly to remain in the game. In art, which two-word term for a gift of confectionery is used dismissively to refer to a stereotypically pretty or sentimental painting?
Candy floss.
No, the correct answer is chocolate box. That means, Mark, you are tonight's strongest link, and you go away with £10,550. What are you going to do with the money?
I'm going to give it to the NSPCC, which is a charity my grandma, Nora, has supported and worked for since she was a child.
Edwina, you will just go away. Join us again for the weakest link. Goodbye.
I felt totally like the underdog because I'm less well known than the lot of them. So to win feels really sweet.
Anne asked me if I fancied Mark. The answer had to be yes. Any woman would. He's not even good looking, but he's very charming, very nice, and a well-deserved winner.
I'm over the moon to win loads of money for my family's favourite charity and to get a date with Anne Loggins.